Hi, Abby. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Good.
Am I the only one here?
Yeah, it looks like only the two of us tonight. Doesn't matter. I'm
Yep.
still going to run through it. It is being recorded, and if you've got any questions, I will answer them. And then maybe if there's any requests, I can do the same next week, Monday evening as well. If there's
Okay.
anybody else that's got questions by then. So yeah, let us start. The first things first. Um, I am going to point out that this assignment is totally different from the graphic organizer that you are doing for um, Helen's unit. There is no presentation component to this. It is purely a mind map or well, a graphic organizer. I'll go through the four options that you've got. A graphic organizer um, in a pure form. So you have to put all the information that you can represent in the graphic organizer, and you have to make sure that you cover as much detail as you can without going into sentences and paragraphs, because with any graphic organizer it's always very short and succinct words and ideas rather than sentences and dot points. So I will have a look and see if I've got a few graphic organizers that I can actually put on the LMS for you as examples. Um,
Already put one in there for formative and summative assessments.
yes, I think so. Yeah. But I think if you go to topic 8, you will, oh, sorry, topic 9, you will find that there's some additional examples of mind maps there as well. I can't put my finger on it now, but I will go and have a look. And if there's not, then I will upload some of them for you, because I've got some um, examples of all four of the types of um, graphic organizers that you might need to do. So let's talk quickly through it before we get to the which graphic organizers you can use. So firstly, you are going to be assessed on the quality of your graphic organizer. Are you adhering to the critical attributes of the set graphic organizer that you use? And that allots to 5 marks. The rest of the marks, 25 marks, is about your reflection. So in part B, you need to make sure that you have a summary of the key points of each topic. That means that each topic within the unit needs to be addressed, and the key learning areas within each topic needs to be clearly expressed as well. Part C, and that allots to 10 marks. Part C is literature. It's 4 marks. So you need to include the literature that we used for each topic. And that is not just popping the literature any which way you want. It is showing me that you understand where the literature fits in within the learning area. So if you were to um, tell me which, so for instance, you have a graphic organizer and you are using, let's quickly do a whiteboard share, then I can show you what I mean. There you go. So if you were to do a mind map and you have your main topic there, and you've got your first branch, and let's say classroom management. Let me just type it in there. Oh, sorry, classroom management is on that, sitting on that branch, and from that branch you then go and say, okay, we're talking about safe classroom environments on that one, and we talk about oh, my brain is now totally not with me. So let's say we talk about the safe classroom environments and classroom layout on that one, and then I want to make a branch where I talk about the literature. And that's fine, you can do that. You can put the say classroom safety and talk about it. And you can say classroom layout, and you can talk about that. And then you can say literature, and you can talk about which literature goes with what. Or you can just leave this branch and discuss within your classroom, say safe classroom, you've got another branch up there and one up there and one up there, and you talk a little bit there, and then you can put in brackets the reference to the actual text that we used, or the literature that we used. And those references can be in-text references. You only need to provide the surname and the date. You do not have to do any in-text referencing for the mind map. In-text referencing is all you need to do, but you need to do it.
Okay, can you link it? And it looks like it's linked to the literature, if it was something from online, like a website.
Meaning? Sorry, I missed you there.
Okay. Oh, sorry. When if you're doing classroom management and you're have found a website that talks about the arrangement of the classrooms, and that's your reference, can you link it, or do you specifically want to say if it was 2010?
I would, if you want to make a hyperlink to it, you can, but you don't have to. You can just do an in-text referencing to that site where you found it, or the peer review that you, literature that you found online for it. You don't have to give me the hyperlinks to those sites. I just want to know that who wrote it and the date, or who compiled it and the date, showing that you know that it forms part of the curriculum. Forms part of the literature reviews that you did when you did your classroom management or your classroom layout. I don't need specific, like the way you used, the way you referenced within at the end of your previous two assignments. I don't need that. It's just the same way that you would have referenced within your paragraphs if you were to talk about this website and the classroom layouts within the website, then you can just reference it like that. If you are talking about taking an image from that website and including it into your graphic organizer, you're allowed to do that as well, and then just again put underneath it in brackets where you got it from, or the author of it. Does that make sense?
Yep, no worries.
Okay, all right. I think, hi Bushra, you joined us as well. Welcome. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is okay, that's the literature, and then part D is learning and future practice. This is with 6 marks, and you need to express what you have learned about the classroom management and the teaching and assessment methods, so for all of the topics, and you need to express how this will inform your future practice and learning. Now this can be done in two ways. You can either have a little branch off from each topic, indicating what you've learned and where you're going to go in future, or you can make that a separate branch and address all the different units within the one branch. But you need to make sure that you do address classroom management, teaching, and assessment, and not just one or two of them. You need to address all three of them in various degrees. Okay, and then plan for continued learning. This one needs to be or can be a separate branch as well, where you actually outline the different steps that you're going to take to do your future professional learning in instruction, classroom management, and assessment. And that could be going to PDs at schools, it could be talking to your mentor teachers, it could be doing extra online courses for this and that, or it could be something that like the tribes training that Becky does every now and again. You could enroll in something like that. So it doesn't matter, it just needs to address again instructional, assessment, and classroom management, all three of them, to get full marks. Okay, so that is basically what is needed, as in the context of the content that you need to provide.
What is this ad doing? What is this ad doing over there? What is this ad doing?
And the next, we're going to look at the actual graphic organizers that you can choose from. The first one is a Venn diagram, and then you've got mind maps, and then you've got a fishbone diagram, and then you've got a concept map. Now, if you take into account that we've covered 10 topics, then this is going to be huge. And you might find that a mind map or a concept map is the better ones to use to convey all the information that you need. Having said that, you are allowed to combine, say, have a mind map as your overarching graphic organizer, and then use a Venn diagram to compare and contrast two things. Say, for instance, your preventive and responsive strategies for classroom management. Or you can look, put in a fishbone somewhere to describe or give more information about a topic within your mind map. And that is allowed. But you need to make sure that whatever graphic organizer you use, they adhere to the critical attributes of that graphic organizer. So for instance, if you do look at a Venn diagram, there's 5 different attributes that needs to be there. And you will be marked on it. So I will look at it and I will highlight the ones that you've done, and therefore you'll get a certain amount of marks. And if there's any suggestions or improvements, I will highlight them here so that you know. And that goes for all of them. There's the Venn diagrams attributes, there's the fishbones attributes, and those are the 2 that you most probably will use within your mind map or concept map. But overarching, I can't see that you use those 2 on their own to cover all 10 topics. So a mind map, it's got 10 critical attributes that you need to look at. A map radiates from the center position. The center topic is clearly defined. It uses There's a use of engaged visuals. There's a hierarchical structure, but it starts in the middle and it branches out. The key ideas relate to the topics that's identified. The effective use of visuals in all the key areas. There's color. The color also assists with the clarification of the ideas. There's the use of words or single ideas rather than sentences, and then you use crosslinks. Crosslinks mean that if I am talking about assessment in, for instance, collaborative or cooperative learning, then I might have a linking line to the instructional methods for collaborative or cooperative learning. So those lines link ideas or different topics together. You might find that you use Bloom's taxonomy under your didactic instructions, but you also need use Bloom's taxonomy when you look at ICT or when you look at assessment, and you can make those linking lines within the topics to connect all the different topics. And that just shows that you are aware of the links between the different topics on more than just the superficial and on more than just the superficial, and that will also show that your in-depth understanding, together with the layers of the amount of layers that you put into your mind map, will provide me with an understanding that, okay, this person really understands the content of this topic, and therefore the marks will go up. Right. And then lastly, we've got concept maps. Concept maps, again, it's a clear hierarchical structure. It starts at the top and it works itself down. Hierarchical structure effectively illustrates idea from most complex or relevant to the least complex or relevant. It's appropriate and effective descriptive linking words on all the links, appropriate use of cross links for words and arrows, appropriate and effective cause and effect. So you might use, I always say, if you do a concept map, it's easiest to remember that your lines down needs to follow in, you need to be able to read it like a sentence. At the top, you've got your top main topic, and your next layer, you've got different topics, but in between, there's a line, and that line needs to have a word that links the two concepts together. So in the end, you might have a sentence that says, it starts at the top with teaching strategies, teaching and assessment strategies, the main topic of our unit, and then it might have the word involve, and then you can have classroom management as a next topic, and that makes a sentence, and you can go down to the next level and say, okay, classroom management is split into 3. You have your safe environment, you've got your what do you, the one with the P, prevention strategies. You've got your responsive strategies, and then you can have a line, the linking line going down to, say, classroom management, and you can say, the sentence can then read, teaching and assessment strategies involves classroom management, which links to a safe environment, and then you can go from there. You can go further and specify the different things that you can do to actually make the classroom safe for the students. So you need to put those linking words in, and it needs to follow a clear idea of an easy flow. Right, and use of arrows, and then appropriate number of ideas or concept used on a concept map will provide the comprehensive picture of your understanding. So again, the number of layers you use will show me how in-depth your understanding is of the actual topic that you were addressing. Right, so that is basically what it all entails. Now I'm going to get to the question part, and I'm going to ask you to bombard me with questions. So, is there any questions, Abby?
No, I just know that I need to start again because I did do it more like Helen's unit, where I just sort of summarized what was going on from the reading and from the lectures, etc.
Okay, I'm quickly going to go to topic 9 and just see whether we've got. Oh, it's just very slow. I'm going to pop it up there for you so that you can see with me. Topic 9. There's a concept map with the linking words, and it shows you that's the second layer, and then there it goes down, and the next layer, and it goes down, and you've got a next layer. So you've got quite a few layers here, showing that there's a complex understanding of this topic.
Also, the last part that you said, do you mean to go to the Australian professional standards to say how you will actually take those, or how you will incorporate those strategies into your future teaching?
You can, yes, you can. I don't want to give you restrictions on what you should and shouldn't do. I want to give you just a framework, and then you need to include whatever you feel is needed or necessary. Because this is a higher order thinking assessment or assignment, it provides you a lot of options and a lot of open-endedness, where you can, there's some rules that you need to follow, but it is totally up to you on how you work within those rules. Okay, so for the mind map, and there's a nice little image of a mind map for you, where you've got your main idea, and it's in the middle, and it's clear, and everybody can see and understand. And then you've got your different branches, and the word sits on the branches. It's not a bubble. It sits on the branches, and you've got, you can see there's one layer, there's a second layer, and there's a third layer. And this one's got 1, 2, 3, and then it's got even 4 layers on this one. And the same goes here. There's your main layer, and there's your second layer, and there's your third layer. So the more layers you have, the better showcase of your understanding, the depth of your understanding there will be. And then, like this, it's only words. You need to put your ideas or your words on each branch. So if you can have basic ordering of ideas, that's 3 words, but it's a concept, and that's fine to have a concept, even if it's more than 1 word, but no sentences and no dot points. Dot points, whatever you wanted to put on a dot point underneath something needs to go onto the next layer on its own branch. Does that make sense? Yes, Bushra.
Hi, Merit. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So it was a lot of information. I want to just ask a question that can we submit the final product as a PDF?
Yes, please do.
Okay. And can I use the graphic organizer of my own choice, like which I
Yes,
find?
you may. As long as the graphic organizer that you choose, no, sorry, the graphic organizer, no. You can only use one of the 4 that I've just mentioned, either a mind map or a fishbone or
Oh,
a concept map or a Venn diagram. That's the only 4 that you can choose from.
no, I meant that the software.
But the software you can use anyone. The only limitation that I always put on the software is I look at, can I create the type of mind map that will qualify as a mind map with the technology, because a lot of the technology don't allow for something similar to this. I know Coggle, I think it's Coggle. It's got a similar one where you write, it provides arrows and it gives you the words at the end of the sentence, after the end of the line, and that is fine because it sits still within a line. It's not a bubble, but the moment you get bubbles and you have to type in the bubbles, then you're going to lose marks because it's not a mind map anymore.
Oh, yeah.
If you
So
want to do a concept map, you
yeah,
can use something like that again, because it gives you a concept map. Do have those little bubbles where you put the words in.
yeah. So I use in the past UV. It's the software in another unit for the concept map, and I feel easy and I have some practice
Yeah.
to use that one.
If you're going to, if you're familiar with concept maps and you are going to use a concept map for this one, by all means, there's a lot more. Software is more agreeable with concept maps than
Yeah,
they are with mind maps. If you look at the critical attributes of a mind map, not all software allows you to insert pictures or write on lines like with mind maps, but with concept maps, they allow you a lot more freedom. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So for the concept map in the bubbles, you recommend only 1, 2 words or the whole sentence?
Let me just go back to the one that I just had. That's not the best concept map that I've ever seen, but yes, it's again, not sentences, not dot points. It needs to be an idea or a concept that goes in each bubble and the linking words in between.
Mm. So what
So if
about
you look at this one, concept maps help
yeah,
to answer focus questions and
yeah,
so that it makes a sentence going down.
yeah, yeah. So no paragraphs or long
No
sentences.
paragraphs, no dot points or anything. Anything that you would want to put on a dot point needs to go to the next level,
Yeah,
because of the next level of information.
yeah. So for the reference of the scientist or the person who said that uh,
So
information.
say for instance, you are busy with this one, events, and you've
Yeah,
got a reference there, you can just put it in brackets underneath
yeah,
within the
yeah,
same box. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. That's my
Or
only.
you can add it to a link, but that's I can if the reference is in the same box,
Yeah,
I'm happy with it.
yeah. So for the future learning and my learning, what I learned, if I make a separate branch rising from the main unit or main idea, is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So my learning and my future professional learning and how it inform my future
Yeah.
lesson
Yeah.
planning and teaching. These
Yeah.
are a bit different
You
stuff.
you can add that to either to the each topic,
Yeah.
or you can make separate branches of it. That is totally up to you.
Yeah, if we will make on each topic, I think it will make a big map then.
It makes a huge map. I remember way back when I did mine, it looked like a spider. It
Okay.
was huge. I started off making it by hand, and I think I had 2 or 3 A2s together, and I thought, no, I'm not going to be able to present this to anybody. So I started over and I did it with digitally, and it was huge. And
Yeah.
but you don't have to go. I mean, it's not necessary to go to make it that huge. But I'm just saying that it can get very big if you go into a lot of detail,
Mm,
because just there's 10 topics. That alone makes it big already.
yes, yes. And
Yeah.
if we go more deep and want to incorporate everything which we have learned in the lectures and the readings, I
Yeah.
think it's not possible maybe. We have to
Yeah.
make it switch.
You'll have to make a choice on what is important and what is not. You can't
Yeah.
put everything in there. But I would say in some places at least you need to go 4 or 5 layers deep.
Yeah.
In other places you might find, oh, if I go 2 layers, it's fine. I can
Yeah.
say everything I want to say, or pinpoint everything I need to pinpoint within the 2 layers. I don't need to go deeper than that. But in other respects, you will find that you are going to um, have to go deeper to show your understanding. I'm just going to quickly see. I don't have the chat open. Tanya, okay. Mind maps, fishbones, concrete. Okay, yep. Do you recommend any particular software? Tanya, I used to use Inspire. I think it's Inspire 9 that I used for mind maps, but I can't remember. I haven't used it for a while. I don't know if it's still on the market. I'll have to go and have a look at it. Let me just quickly have a look. I know Becky, there's 3 mind mapping tools. Let's quickly have a look what she's got there. I don't know this one though. I know Coggle. Some people like Coggle, other people don't. So Coggle is not a bad one to use, and it allows you to do mind maps. Let's see. In Inspiration 9 software. Oh, yeah. Inspiration is the one that I always used, but it is not for free anymore. That's the limitation on this one. But I found that this one worked really well. The problem with, I think you can do the trial with it. Then you have to finish your mind map off in 7 days, I think, and you will be able to export it as a PDF. But the problem with that is you can't go back and make any changes after your 7 days if you don't buy it. So maybe decide whether it's something that you will be using again before you decide to buy. Coggle is one that I know a lot of students use for mind maps. This one I don't know per se. I'll have to have a look at it and play around with it to see if it's worth using. Let's quickly have a look. Okay, so it says, okay, I just want to show you this one quickly. The problem with this software is, oh no, I can't show you this one. This is on some, I remember now. Okay, mind maps. Let's look at this one. The problem with this one is it doesn't allow you to write on the lines. It gives you bubbles. So if you are using the bubbles, oh, come on. If you're using the bubbles, it's going to look, let me just get back. It's going to look something like that, where you've got bubbles and people then tend to write within the bubbles. So I would not, let's look at templates. Brainstorming, note taking, there's a freestyle. Oh, it gives you, or you have to upgrade to get a PDF export. So that's the problem with this one as well. It's the same as with the Inspire. And if I have to pay for something, I would rather go with Inspiration 9. Okay. If you use this one and you want to do a concept map, I think it will work for it. Okay, let me just quickly have a look at that one. Sorry, you are bombarding me now with new technology, and I can't, can't resist it. Okay. No, 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 no. No, it's not your fault. But yes, please send me a. It looks like it might work if I look at the templates here. More templates. Yeah, I think you'll have to have a play around with it to see if you can actually comment see mind map. Yep, it will work for a mind map because it allows you to write on the links. So that will work for a mind map. That won't work for a mind map because it's bubbles. That won't work for a mind map. That won't work for a mind map, really. Again, bubbles. But could work for a concept map. But a concept map needs to start at the top and go down. No. So you have to be very, very careful. Not everything they say is a mind map according to the critical attributes of a mind map. And that's the only thing that we need to be very careful of when we actually decide to pick a different a tool. Any other questions?
So, sorry, you don't want sentences.
No.
You just want 1 or 2 words.
Concepts, yeah.
Concepts.
So yeah, so you can convey a concept in 2 to 4 words.
Okay.
Ideally, it's a single word, but it's not always easy to convey a concept in a single word. So I'm happy with 2 or 3 words, 4 at the utmost, as long as it's a single idea or a single concept that you're conveying, and you're not describing something to me.
Okay. But
If you
those
understand what I mean.
concepts can still be in bubbles.
Sorry?
They can still be encased in a bubble, like in Coggle.
In Coggle, I don't think they use bubbles in Coggle. I think in Coggle it is,
You can use bubbles.
yeah, but ideally, if you go and have a look, let's go back to our,
I think you'll have to provide
to the mind map. If you go back to the mind map, it is not supposed to be bubbles. It's supposed to be branches, and the word sits on the branches, not in bubbles.
Yeah, you can do that in Coggle, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're just
So,
changing the complete way that I went and did what I started, because
yeah.
I wasn't aware that there were such.
No, I mean, if you use bubbles and you use only one word within a bubble, you might lose a quarter of a mark or a half a mark because you used bubbles and your words weren't sitting on the branches. But if you stay with one word, or if you use the bubbles as if the bubble was the branch, and you stick to all the rest of the criteria, then that's all you will lose. As long as you don't go and use those bubbles to write paragraphs in or give me dot points and stuff like that. If you use it as just basically the same way you would use it in a concept map, where you pop in the idea there and it sits on a branch, and then your next level is one further down, then I will accept it. You might lose, like I said, a quarter of a mark or something because it's not directly specifically sitting on the branch, but I will accept it because you used it in the global way of using the mind map was sufficient, if you understand what I mean. You stick to all the other criteria, you might just...
There was such a criteria.
Sorry?
I didn't realize there was such a criteria for mind maps.
Yes, and that's why she's
some
got this part at the end here, which I will use to... people use the word mind map very loosely. And you'll find that after this unit, you will always be very critical to other people using the word mind map, because a lot of the things that they use or talk about as mind maps are actually cluster maps. And that is where you have these bubbles with a cluster of ideas or dot points in, and you move to the next layer and there's a main point with a few dot points. That is cluster maps. It's not a mind map. So it's totally a different concept. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's used differently. So yeah, if you go to the LMS, you will see that she did put up some readings around, let me just, oh, my internet is so slow, sorry people. Topic 9 again. It takes forever. I don't know what's the problem with my internet speed. I need to maybe reset the internet, but I can't do it now. I'll do it in a bit. Oh, come on, come on, come on. While we're waiting for that one, is there anything else that you want to ask a question about?
Excuse me, Merit. I can see
Yeah.
some examples given even topic 9 box on LMS. If you can please bring them here, we can see there are clusters of words and tables in bubbles in concept
Sorry,
map.
where are you? What are you talking about now? I missed a bit.
If you look in the topic 9 LMS box,
Yeah.
there are some examples of concept maps, and I have downloaded all those examples, and I can see there are big bubbles containing the tables and many words. So
This is the one.
no,
Okay, so this is one. Below is a concept map of this chapter. So there's graphic organizers and there's your bubbles, but that is for concept maps.
yes.
There's another concept map. Okay, so it's got the bubbles, it's got the linking lines, and it's got your bubbles can be either round or square or the oval shape. That's fine. So for the concept map, that is fine. We were talking about mind maps per se. Let me just look.
There are many examples with the handwritten maps. They were all
Okay, there's a few different ones here that you can have a look at as well. Different.
They are all with the hands, and there are some bad
So
examples.
that one is a Coggle example.
Yeah.
And that is fine.
Yeah, so that
So
I was.
Coggle works really well with mind maps per se. It looks like that other one that Tanya talked about.
No, these are concepts map.
Look
There are
like
examples.
they are all mind maps. They are not concept maps. These ones. The other one that I just showed you, this one, they are concept maps.
Okay, yeah.
So the concept map's got the little words on the lines there that links the what we call linking words, that makes sure that that all reads as like a little sentence. Whereas for the for the mind map, you have branches, no bubbles, and the word sits on the branch, and each branch going out has got this own color.
Yeah. Can we use the
Color
in concept?
Color plays a big role in mind maps, color and pictures. This mind map doesn't have pictures, so if I were to write it, it will lose marks because there's no pictures involved.
Can we use in concept map the colors and the pictures?
In concept maps, I'm pretty sure you can use colors, gradients, like, and you have all colors of the same level, the same color. You can either do it like that, or you can use different colors for each
Categorize them in a
for
same
each
group.
branch, but you need
Yeah.
to keep the same gradient.
Yeah.
So if you would say the darkest at the top and lighter as you go down, so that each layer has a similar lightness or darkness to the color, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, it's not, apart from, if you follow the critical attributes,
Yeah.
then you will, that's what I'm going to mark you on.
Oh yeah. There.
Okay, so if you follow these critical attributes, it's with 5 marks, 5 of the 30. The rest of the marks, 25 of the marks, is totally only your content and how you present your content.
Yeah.
So the actual graphic organizer only counts for 5 marks. So even if you were to lose a whole mark because you didn't do, like, and there's 9 attributes here. If you take 5 marks and you divide it by 9 attributes, how many marks is there per attribute? Say it's more or less 2 attributes per mark. So you have to have at least 2 of them wrong to lose a full mark.
Yeah.
So don't stress too much about the, yeah, if you have the bigger picture and the broad strokes of the attributes plot down, then you can't lose a lot of marks there, and it is only worth 5 marks. So
Yeah.
but one thing that you can do to make up for losing maybe a mark here or a mark there, to do with your graphic organizers, is to actually use other graphic organizers like fishbones and Venn diagrams and stuff like that within your graphic organizer, to show that you understand the depth of your understanding without making your graphic organizer too lopsided one way or the other.
So you
Any
recommend to
other?
use other.
Eh?
You recommend to use the other maps in our one
Yeah,
map.
within them. Yeah. So say for instance, you've got your concept map. Let me just.
Yeah, I got it. It should be the
Yeah.
part of our whole
Yeah.
big
So say for instance, you've got your concept map here, and you at the end here, you say, for example, and you put your Venn diagram here, and you do your compare and contrast at the end, or you have a fishbone here to show something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you encourage a mixture of them.
I would encourage that you have your main one, and that you use the attributes that's on the sorry, let me just go back one. Say for instance, you've got a mind map. You use these attributes for a mind map and you focus on them, but you can then use, instead of making 4 or 5 different layers in one section, you can, for instance, use a Venn diagram to compare and contrast your let's say prevention and responsive strategies for classrooms. You can use, do you understand what I mean? So you can use little Venn diagrams here and there, or a fishbone here and there within your mind map to make the connections that you made within the topics, to make that clear. The same with the linking lines. Instead of having to use Bloom's taxonomy here and there and everywhere and put it in too much detail, you can put it in a lot of detail in one place and then mention it in another place, but make a linking line to the place where you extrapolated on it. And that linking line then shows me, okay, you know all about Bloom's taxonomy, and you know that fits in this topic as well, for instance. So remember those linking lines. That helps you to build on knowledge. It helps you to show that you know that although I use it here and I've discussed it in detail here, I don't have to discuss it in detail here, but I can link the two together, and that will show you, or in this case me, that you know that the information is transferable to another topic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Any other questions? I know this is a hard one to get your head around, and especially because you just finished what seemingly is a similar topic for another unit is totally different. Because I spoke to Helen the other day about it, because I heard somebody, one of the students, talk about this graphic organizer or the mind map they have to do for Helen, and then I spoke to her about it, and because hers has got that presentation aligned with it, you need to put only the bare basics on your organizer, and then you need to talk about it. Whereas this one, you're not going to talk about it. You need to give me all the information so that I can see it, I can read it. So it's much more complex. But just remember, you need not put any detail that you want to put in goes into layers. So if you say want to give me dot points or examples, then just make it in a different layer. Don't fall into the whole paragraph writing and dot points giving. That's not part of and parcel of any, supposedly, any graphic organizers. Graphic organizers are very succinct, and it talks, it's ideas that's being transferred or given across. It's not lectures or paragraphs or anything like that. It's only succinct ideas that you show me that you understand. I don't want to for you to have to regurgitate the whole book or the whole all 12 or 10 lectures to me. I just want the main ideas that you took from the unit and what you've learned from it. And the more depth you give, the more marks you get, but stick to succinct, being succinct. Yeah. Yes. Main ideas, within the main ideas. Somebody asked me, and I think it was you, Tanya, that asked me, I don't know, okay, Tanya, you asked, do we include references? Yes, but only in-text referencing. You don't have to do in-text referencing. So I want to see the literature. I want to see what you know about where you connect the literature with what you're giving me, but only in-text referencing is needed. Somebody asked me a little bit back, and I can't remember where I saw it. No, I don't see it now. Nope. Sorry. If somebody posted something that I didn't answer, please forgive me. I thought somebody asked me a question a while ago, and I'll get back to it, and now I can't find it. Any other questions? No? All right, so I will make the offer that if there's anybody else that's got any questions, but I'll throw it open for everybody, both internal and external. If there's anybody that has got any other questions, next week, Monday evening, we can meet up again. I will put it on the LMS and see if there's any takers for it. And then I will let you know, yeah, whether the session is recorded. But if there's nobody that's got questions, then it might be only a very brief hello and goodbye to say that I've been there. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. All right, everyone. Please, I did make a forum for assignment 3. If you have any questions, please post them there. It's always good for other people to see the posts. It triggers something from that they might have wondered about, but they didn't ask. So please feel free to ask questions. I will answer them as soon as I can. I normally go in once or twice a day to look at the LMS. But in any case, you guys have a nice day. The lecture for the ICT will go up most probably by the end of tomorrow. I had a lot of difficulty getting it to actually upload to YouTube. If I can't, I'll have to make a different arrangement, but I will get it uploaded to the LMS by the end of tomorrow. And if any of you are able to, you are more than welcome to join the on-campus group next Thursday for the ICT workshop. But if you can't, then I might, I might post some activities for you to do on the LMS that involves, or maybe I already did, involves virtual worlds that you can go and have a look at online museums and things like that. Oh, sorry, Tanya. If you can't attend, I said that I will, and I think I've already put some activities for you on the LMS where you can actually look at virtual museums and Minecraft for education. That will give you some idea of things that you can do within the ICT realm in your classrooms. But I will, the lecture will go up tomorrow, and then you'll ought to have some idea, because I've covered some things that you can do within a classroom with ICT there already. Okay, good night everyone, and have a blessed week, and we'll speak soon.